I would do is adore you all of the time. I'd like to.
Alright, what's up everybody? Happy 4th of July. Gonna take an hour, do a little bit more work, show you what I got done last night. Real quick. Got the KC bumper lights hooked up, ran the wire this way, brought it up here. Here it is connected, and I connected it to the yellow line for the fuse relay. So that's that, set it up, and then I brought the ground over to here. That's where I grounded it. Alright, inside the cab I got the CB wired, so there it is there, and I popped that back into place. Here's the line for the CB, so that's the black, the ground. Here's the red. This is going to straight fused power right there. This is another straight fused power for my USB power that's going to be there. This pink is going to be another straight power, and that's going to power all the switches. So it's going to start down here, power the 2 lockers, and then I'm going to bounce it up here and power each of the 4 switches on the A-pillar. And then I have 2 more straight powers left over, so those I'm just going to tuck away. These are all the switch lines, so those are going to go to each switch that I have in the A-pillar. So I'm going to just connect those, and those are going to feed each one except the compressor switch, because the compressor switch I'm going to use the ARB wiring harness. So I actually spent about an hour, took it all apart. Basically it comes wrapped up in like this ridiculous amount of tape. So these are the switch lines for the solenoids for the air lockers. So I'm going to run those to the lockers for the switch. And this is the purple in the ground for the power to turn on and off the compressor. So I'm going to put that through the firewall as well. And that's going to go to my compressor switch. And that's it. So I'm going to run those through the firewall right now.
I'd like to. I'd like to. I'd like to love you every day. I'd like to love you,
Alright, so that's pulled through. I'm just leaving these locker ones here. I'm just going to ball them up and leave them in place for eventually when I install that. And you see, pulled it through. And I obviously don't need all that. So got the visor back in. This piece mostly back in. I gotta look on the other side, see how that goes. For some reason it doesn't, I don't think that goes. We'll see. So my switch line for the compressor, KC lights, and then the other two switches which I have is the backlights and the light bar. So those are going to go to the 8-pillar guy. Here's the front and rear locker switch. Alright, what's going on everybody? It is July 6th. Final hookup day for all the electric that I've run, so gonna hook it all up, connect to the battery, and hopefully the compressor goes on and my lights work. So let's see what happens. Alright, so just to recap, these are my switch lines. So the purple one is going to the compressor, the yellow is going to my KC lights, and then the green and white I'm pre-wiring right now for my light bar and the rear lights. So those are going to be pre-connected to switches. Here on the switch I've run the grounds, I've run the power feed line. So this power feed line is going to come down. It's going to tie into this one here, which is also then going to feed my locker switches, and it's actually going to feed only the rear locker switch. The way I'm wiring this up is that the only way the front locker switch is going to work is that the rear locker switch has to be engaged first. So that's why I have like this multiple jump here, because it's gonna, once you flip the switch on for the rear locker, it'll then give power to the front locker, and then that one can be engaged. The USB power port, that one is gonna have its own power line, its own fuse line. That way if it blows, then I know which one it is. See this yellow right here, that's the ground that's going to connect to the grounds from all the switches, and then I'm going to ground that. So it's actually time to hook up everything.
I'd like to love you, love you. I'd like to love you, love you. If I may, if I may. I'd like to love you, love you. I'd like to love you, love you. I'd like to love you night and day, if I may, may. I'd like to. I'd like to love you every day. I'd like to love you, if I may, if I may. I'd like to love you, I'd like to love you, I'd like to love you night and day, if I may, may. I'd like to. I'd like to love you every day. I'd like to love you,
Alright, that is in. There we go. So now the grounds are connected to that line. I'm just going to connect the power. Alright, so everything's hooked up on the back of the switches. That looks like a complete mess, but I'm going to clean it up once I make sure everything works. And that's where I grounded everything right there. That's where some other stuff is grounded. So I'm just going to connect now to the battery. so everything's hooked up. There, it's not the cleanest, but I am going to be switching over to a dual battery system soon, so I just wanted to keep extra wire just in case. So let's try and see if the compressor comes on. Compressor switch. There it is, and the light turns on when it goes on. And that's what I wanted. That's basically how I wired it up. So basically when the switch, I basically jumped from number 3, which is your accessory, which goes out to your accessory. So when that gets power from number 2 is your power in. Power in is number 2. Basically what I did was then number 3 is your accessory. I jumped number 3 to number 6. So when it goes on, both my lights are on because I want to know when it's on. I changed my mind from putting it in with the dimmer. So my compressor's running. That's pretty cool. Let's check the front bumper lights. Bumper lights are on, so the switch is working. And my KC lights work. Sweet. Alright, so that's good. And now turn those off. Alright, so now I also have power to my USB. That's my dual charger down here. The reason why I put this down here is I just found it always annoying that the cigarette outlet is over there and the USB, my charger for my phone is over there, but I carry my phone over here. So I just thought this made more sense just to add one down here. And probably what I'm going to do is bore out a little hole here, run my line, bring it up through here, so it's just sitting here so it looks a little cleaner. Alright, so now on the back of my lockers, this switch right here, this is my rear locker switch. So same thing, I have power coming into number 2, that's the pink line. So the pink line is number 2. From number 3, which is that bottom left one right there, which is the yellow. Number 3 is goes to the solenoid switch, which will be for the rear locker. So when that powers on, and this switch powers on, so when the switch powers on number 3 of the rear locker, you can see it's jumped to number 6, so my light's going to come on. And then I jumped it from number 3 here, I jumped it to number 2 on the front locker. So that then gives power to the front locker. And then you can see number 3 on the front locker goes out to the other green solenoid switch, and then I jumped it over to number 6 for the light. So they're both off. The front locker should not come on right now. And as you can see, I've hit the front locker. Sorry about the autofocus. But as you can see, when I flip it up, no light comes on. I flip up the rear locker, light on. I flip up the front locker, light on, light on. Alright, so I'm pretty excited about that. That works. So now I'm going to push this back into the dash. I'm going to clean up all these wires here and put everything back together. So I'll show you the finished product. Alright, cleaned up. Just got a vacuum from all the wire clippings. One thing I did notice is the rugged ridge. This guy doesn't really fit that great over here. I don't know if I have to play around with it a little bit more. I'm going to look at the other side, and I don't know if it has to be. But that's kind of how it popped in, so. Yeah, it's a little gap down there. Really can't notice it when you're looking. But, yeah. Switches. Alright. Alright, so the last thing I did is I just removed the fuses of the lines I'm not using. So I have 1, 2, 3 of the 15 amp fuses. Those are the direct powers. Those are the constant on power. So my number 2 is for my USB charging port. Number 4 is for my constant power to my switches. And number 6 is for my CB radio. And then currently right now, number 3 is my 30 amp fused relay. And that is for my KC bumper lights, which are running right there. So now when I just add in my other accessories, I just pop the fuse back in and it's good to go. So I'm just going to keep those off so I don't have hot lines right now. Alright, so that is pretty much it. I'm going to close this up and call it done. For now, of course. Alright, so all in all, that wasn't too bad. It just took forever to get all this done because I had to make the custom mount bracket for the fused relay box that I got, and just not having a lot of continuous time, so I had to like piecemeal the project step by step, and that just made it harder because the time you get going again and you run out of time and you gotta stop, clean up everything, and so but yeah, so now everything is ready. So when I add a few more accessories that I want to add, it's all there. It's just a couple of quick connections and they're ready to go. So I tackled really the hard part now, and I got everything ready for future use. So as far as more Jeep projects, that's probably gonna be it for a little while. I don't think my wife's pretty I don't think my wife's too happy right now because I've been jumping back and forth with this, but we'll see. Yeah, so stay tuned for more. And I think we're finally going to start hitting the beach again because baby Odin is now a month old tomorrow and he's holding his head up, so I think it's safe really to go off-roading with him now. Alright, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, share it with your friends, your family, significant others, whoever you think might like it. And if you have any questions, hit the comments below, let me know. I'll answer as best as I can. I'm not an expert at wiring. I figured a lot of this stuff out as I went along. And I'll just share my experiences. I'll link the products I used also down below. And then, yeah, that's it. Please subscribe. Follow along. Yeah, I'm getting used to these glasses. Like, that's right. Alright, thanks.
All I do is adore you all of the time. I like to